Hello, hey, what's up you all? It is Angelica Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we will be discussing 3 in-depth ways to know when someone is using you. The example that I'm going to give, this girl name is going to be Jenny throughout each topic, and so let's get into it. Okay, so the first way of how you know when someone is using you, when they are using you for your ideas, using your ideas to profit from it. How? Well, so I had a friend named Jenny, and this was a few years ago, and she was a big supporter of my business. She was my #1 fan or whatever. I was her #1 fan, however you want to call it. And she invested into my business. She did a lot of things to where I would not think that she would even attempt to do something like this. Okay, so moving forward. So we're going to pretend like I'm on the phone with Jenny. So this is the way we're going to do this. Okay, so ring, ring, ring. So Jenny is calling me. Hey, Angelica, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing very well. Hey, Jenny, how are you? I'm doing well. I was just calling you to see if you just had any type of ideas or anything. I've been trying to come up with an idea with a t-shirt company, and I was just brainstorming over some things, but I was just wondering if you had any input or any ideas to where I can like include them into my t-shirt company. I'm trying to figure out what would the name be, and you know what type of phrases I would have on the t-shirts, what would be the name of the t-shirt company, and things of that nature. And so I am giving my input 100%, and I'm saying, well, if I was you, Jenny, what I would do is I would have the t-shirt company called blank, 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 blank. And I would, and then I also asked her what type of phrases. Is it like political type phrases, or is it like celebrity type phrases, or is it like everyday type phrases to where like every normal person just use? Like, what type of phrases are you going to have on your shirt? And she was like, well, maybe like celebrity type phrases, or just like all the above. I was like, okay. I was like, well, Paris Hilton, her favorite like word or whatever you want to call it to say is "that's hot," and that's like, you know, I believe she has a song out that's called "That's Hot." I'm not for sure, but I would have like a shirt that says, you know, this, and this is the image that I would have on the background of it, and the name of the t-shirt company, I would call it this. And yeah, and then Jenny was asking me about prices and things of that such, or like what type of platforms, or how would you advertise the t-shirt company, the t-shirt business and stuff. I gave her all these ideas, and we were on the phone for a good 2 hours, and I'm just flooding her telephone and her ear with countless different types of ideas for her t-shirt company. And I remind you, I didn't think nothing of it. I looked at it as 2 friends just having a regular conversation. She's brainstorming. She's trying to come out with an idea. I didn't think that she would profit from my idea that I had given her. Of course, I wouldn't think that. And so anyway, so we're just conversating, having a good laugh and things of that nature. And so 2 weeks go by, and something just tells me to scroll through Instagram, and I'm just looking at random people selling products, where to shop at and all that stuff. And then I come by a t-shirt company that is advertising, you know, different types of t-shirts with different phrases on them and different images in the background. But the first thing I seen was the name of the t-shirt company and the logo and things of that nature. And so I was like, oh, that's cute. And it didn't dawn on me that it was the name that I came up with, because sometimes even when you come up with the same name, even though you come up with that name, someone else can come up with the same name as you. So I didn't think that it was her. I couldn't put one and one together at first, but it did not dawn on me at that moment. And so something tells me to tap, so I tap into the website, and then I look at the t-shirts, and I'm like, now this is strange, because I sat up here and I'm looking at the phrases, and I'm looking at the images that's attached to the phrases on the t-shirt, and I'm realizing that is something similar to this discussion is something similar to what I was discussing with Jenny on the phone 2 weeks ago. And so I'm like, no, but did somebody recording my conversation without me knowing? Because, people do that all the time. And I'm like, no, it can't be her. So I'm still looking, I'm like, something's off, because it's the same images, it's the same everything. So then I look at the bio, get to know the creator of the t-shirt company, that type thing. And it was her. It was her. Oh my God, the nerve. It was her. And so I was looking and reading her background, the background story of how she came up with her company, because she actually pulled out an LLC with the same name that I had given her over the telephone. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. So anyways, I'm looking at the bio and stuff like that, and I don't know, she was acting as if somebody asked her a question like, what made you come up with the name? What gave you the idea to come up with the t-shirt company, this and that, this and that. And she mentioned that she got her idea from the divine. That part, I was like, wow. She said she got that idea from the divine, and that the divine, gave her many ideas for the t-shirt company, the name and the logos and the images and everything. She said the divine gave her all that whole entire idea. And I was like, but the divine didn't give me the idea. I gave that idea to you. But moving forward. So I am like, that word. I am so I'm disturbed mentally. I'm just going over my mind. I'm like, I can't believe this blank, 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 blank. I can't believe she would do something so conniving and sneaky behind my back without me even knowing. But then I got to thinking. I was like, before I even talked to her or anything like that, I'm just giving you all the background of how I was thinking, how I was feeling, and this and that. And I was like, well, Angelica, if you wouldn't have never opened up your mouth, she wouldn't have an idea to profit from, yet alone your idea, right? And so I'm like, yeah, but maybe you spoke too soon. But not only that, I was like, but it's not necessarily my fault, even if it kind of is, because I felt like I was talking to a friend. I felt like we were actually having an honest conversation, just having a regular conversation. I didn't think she was using all that information to profit from it, open up an LLC, get her stuff with the Secretary of the State and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I would never think it. She got an EIN number for my business idea and everything like that. Paying taxes. The business was blooming. I read the reviews. The sales was going up. All this stuff within 2 weeks of me not even knowing. Like, after our conversation, 2 weeks later, that's when she opened up the business. Because that's when I looked at the date and stuff like that, because I remember the conversation. I put one and one together real quick with those times and dates and stuff. And so I was like, And then how you just kind of like brainstorm and you kind of like ponder over the whole entire situation. You was like, now hold up. If she did that, I wonder how many other conversations have we had? Because we have had a lot of conversations to where she has mentioned to me that she's trying to come up with different types of ideas. And I would always say, if I was you, okay, y'all know I gotta look cute. I would always say, if I was you, I would do this. If I was you, I would always say, if I was you. And I was like, well, Angelica, you spoke too much, you said too much. Sometimes those ideas could be your ideas, which it originally is, but I was just having a conversation with a friend. I would never think that she would turn around and do something to hurt me, like seriously. And it still kind of hurts to this day. And the only reason why it still hurts because I actually considered this specific person a friend. But at the same time, what was so weird about this whole entire situation is that she was supporting me. Oh, yeah. Y'all have to be careful of the ones that support you and turn around and backstab at the same time. You would never think it's happening because it's happening in such a sneaky, like a silent type competition. It's happening in such a sneaky way to where it probably would take you a long time, which it took me years. It probably would take you a long time to figure out, but that's why you have me, the advisor. The one, I'm getting comfortable, y'all. The one that's here to unmask the one who's behind the mask. Okay, because this is what they do. This is what she did. Any business I would come up with, she would be the first one to buy it. I would talk to her, yeah, I was thinking about doing it. She'd be the first one to say, yes, I support you. And she would say, girl, I'm your number one fan. Ooh, you got to be careful of those. It kind of reminds me of that movie. Was it Misery? I think it was called Misery. With that lady. I forgot. And she kept saying, I'm your number one fan. You got to be careful of those number one fans. Because those are the main ones. Not all of them, but most of them, I believe. Be the main ones that either try to take your position or try to use your ideas and profit from it while supporting you. You know, you would never think that someone that is supporting you is also stealing from you. And when I say stealing, not necessarily money. Well, yeah, money. If they're profiting from your ideas, they're stealing money per se, yeah. But how can I say it? They're investing in your business to blindside you from what their true intentions are, which is to steal your ideas because they know they don't have a brain of them. They do not have a brain of their own to be able to even be so intelligent to come up with their own ideas. So they would prefer to speak to you because they know you are the one that has the businesses. You are the one that have the most intelligence out of them. If you just compare yourself to your friend, you're the most intelligent one. You're the most this year. But at the same time, you look at yourself as a normal person, not necessarily as the most intelligent person in the world or even in the room. You just know who you are. You're confident within yourself of who you are. You never really think that you're better than anybody, even though most people would probably think that of me and say, oh, she's probably stuck up in this and that. No, I just have high standards. Stuck up, I never look at you as you're beneath me. What is beneath me is your low standards and your low poverty mindset. That's what's beneath me. And if you have any of those, then yes, you are considered beneath me if your mindset is very low and you have a low poverty mindset. Yes, then I would look at that person like, yep, you're beneath me because your mindset isn't right. It's not compared to mine or it's not higher, you know. So I never looked at myself as in I was better than someone. But moving forward, getting back onto topic. So she supported me 100%. She kept supporting me. And I felt like the support is what blindsided me from the truth. The support is what blindsided me from your true intentions towards me. But I know, you know. Now my intuition was always very strong, but I kept ignoring it when it came to her because of course I would never think that it would be her. I would never think, you know. And it's weird, the ones that you never think that would do it, them be the main ones that has the bad intentions towards you. But they're so sneaky with it. They're so ruthless with it. You know, they could be throwing things from the west side and you don't even know that it's coming from them because of the way that it transpires, if that makes any sense. You know, like you would never think that this event took place because your friend set it up. Because of the way that it was set up, it would even point directly to your friend. It would point to someone else. But it's in disguise, you know, to make you think one thing, but really your friend is the one who's setting it up all along just to make you look bad. And that's some sneaky energy. And I know how to I can feel energy from a faraway distance. But this one I chose to ignore because I didn't want to believe it. I was in denial of it, even though my intuition was telling me that it was her. So moving forward, I end up speaking to her over the phone. And I said, you know, Jenny, how are you doing today? She said, hey, Angelica, I'm doing well. Never brought up anything about her business or anything. She wasn't even aware that I knew anything about her business, right? So moving forward, I'm speaking to her and stuff like that. She's all happy and excited that we're talking on the phone and stuff like that because I'm just checking on her. But then I say, hey, I bypassed or whatever, a website called such and such and such and such. I'm not going to say it, because it still exists and it's still making money to this day. But I'm not going to say the name of the business. But, I say, hey, why didn't you let me know that you were coming out with the business and things like that? She said, oh, I wasn't even for sure. I wasn't even 100% sure that it was something that I even wanted to invest in. I was just kind of like brainstorming over some ideas. And then I just decided to come up with it. I'm like, oh, really? I said, well, it's funny that, when we were over the phone, when we were speaking over the phone, that I gave 100% of my input towards the business that exists, which is my business per se. Originally, it's my business, but since you have an LLC and all these and trademark and all this other stuff, I can't say anything about it because it never was a verbal agreement over the telephone that it was, like a partnership or co-owner type thing going on. So it's basically hers because she has all the legal status and legalness, whatever you want to call it, the legal documentation of that business. So I can't claim it even if we was talking on the phone, because if we will go back to that recording, it was just a regular conversation of two friends having a conversation about random ideas. But if you think about it, if I let you all listen to that conversation, you would hear that I am the one that's giving 100% of the input in her supposedly idea. She's rarely talking. She's just saying, yes, that's a great idea. Oh, yes, that's what I was thinking about. Or this and that and this and that. And it come to find out, I'm the one for a whole straight 2 hours. It was almost like I was speaking to myself. So moving forward, she tells me, oh, well, yeah, I didn't think nothing of it. I just decided to come up with it. She said, but yeah, thank you for helping me. For helping you? Thank you for helping? Like, really? I came up with the whole entire thing, like, seriously? And so I was like, yeah, it's funny that it's the name I came up with, the images and the phrases that was on the t-shirts. I came up with that. And then she was like, she's like, yeah, but you I allowed you to help me, and I didn't think it was really a big deal. We was just having a regular conversation, and I decided to jot down some of the things that we were discussing and turn it into an idea. I said, well, had I known that, we wouldn't have had that conversation. I said, because that is pretty much my ideas, and then she was like, she's like, well, again, just, thank you for helping. She said, yeah. And I said, I found it funny that you said that your ideas came from the divine. Who's the divine? Who? She said, well, it did come from the divine through you. I said, oh my God. My God. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, it couldn't have gotten any better than that. And then I was like, you know what, Jenny? I wish you the best of luck on your endeavors, on your business plans, I wish you the best of luck, And I hung up. That was it. That was the end of the conversation. I wish you the best of luck. Hung up. So what I did after that, I went back into my phone calls with her, and I opened up like 3 or 4 different like LLCs or whatever and businesses and stuff. And I went back into those ideas, to what I had mentioned to her, and I had an LLC and all that. I just did everything that I could to make sure I can profit from my own ideas, because I can only imagine. I only found 1 store, but I only can imagine how many other stores that you have with my ideas, because we were friends for years. And I kept mentioning, and I remember that I kept mentioning, if I was you. I said that so many times in the conversation when she would mention I was brainstorming of the ideas and stuff. I can only imagine how many ideas that I had given you. Wow. And so I did that. And I noticed that she didn't use any of those ideas, to where I opened those LLCs for. She didn't use that. And so I was like, oh my God, thank God she didn't use any of that. So that's what I did, just to please myself. I didn't care about anything else, because I'm pretty sure she has lots more businesses that includes, the things that I had mentioned to her. So that's how that went. Next thing, Number 2, using you for food and drinks only. Oh my God. Y'all know that people come in so many different disguises when it comes to targeting you for only food and drinks only. That's it. They don't want to be your friend. Their intentions is only to use you, and that's it. Y'all got to get it. Now, look. So this happened a few years ago too. Everything that I'm getting ready to discuss with you all, it happened a few years ago. Okay, so using you for food and drinks. Okay, so I had a friend, and we was not friends that long. I can say that. We were not friends that long. It was somebody I just met. It was like a business network ordeal or whatever. And I felt like she was pretty cool. I, don't really have that many friends and stuff like that because I'm just, I'm unique in my own way, and it just takes a different type of person to be around me. And you got to be different. Can't be normal. You got to be a little bit different and a little bit kind of out there. Because I'm different. I like different types of music. I like different types of everything. So I'm different. So moving forward. I met this girl at a business networking ordeal. And, it started off with me just offering to pay for things. I think that is right there. It's when I made the wrong decision. It's when things were just kind of like left. It's when I decided to start just paying for everything because I was just being nice. And sometimes the nice ones be the main ones that be taken advantage of. So I was being very nice to her. And I started picking her up in my car. She had a vehicle, but I started to pick her up in my car. And every weekend we would go to like, certain places, high upscale places, to where I would just order food and drinks. We go to a nice classy place. And also when one of my other friends, they had a connection to like the country club. Well, they were a member of the country club, and I would go and have food and drinks there because of his connection or whatever else, stuff like that. And we would just go there, and I would order food and drinks. So I would order. This is what gets me. I ordered, my food. Like I would order, my entree or whatever. I would order a dessert and a drink. Like the main meal, a dessert, and a drink. That's it. I don't really eat that much. So that would be like my one meal a day. Oh, man, right? She would order. Now, remember, I'm paying. But moving forward, she would order the main meal, like 2 or 3 different desserts, and 2 or 3 different drinks. Sometimes like mainly like 2, but sometimes 3 different drinks just to try it. But you're trying it on my tab. You're trying it on my money. But I let it slide, and I was like, okay, we having a good conversation. Everything is going good and stuff like that. And then what gets me is that I know that I'm paying, but I at least expect you to at least tip the waiter, because that's important. It's very important for me to tip the waiter, and just for anybody that's in my presence, especially if I'm paying for anything, it's important for you to tip the waiter. Why do I have to? Now I don't mind tipping the waiter my part, but why do I have to tip the waiter? It's almost like I kind of like felt like I had to tip the waiter double because I was paying for a meal, even though it was all together. But whatever, that was me being nice and friendly to the waiter. But I didn't like the fact that she would never tip the waiter. So you're getting everything for free. I mean, you're getting the meals, the drinks, plus the tip. It's free, and everything is on all my expenses, right? And so at first I didn't think nothing of it. We having fun, we laughing, we giggling, that's it. And I noticed also she would only call. She wouldn't necessarily call to like check up on me. It would kind of be like, hey girl, how you doing? What are we doing this weekend? Hey girl, how you doing? What are we doing this weekend? And it would happen every weekend, right? And I was like, that's all she calling? That's all she calling about is what we doing on the weekend? Sometimes I'm off during the week. What about that day? But whatever, So another weekend would pass by to where we would go to a VIP section. That costs money. The VIP part, that costs money. Valet parking. Well, I meant valet parking. Go to valet parking to where the person can park my car. We go to this nice upscale place. We go to the top floor or whatever. And then I ordered food and drinks. Now this place is much more classier than the other one, even though the other one was classy too. But this one is real classy because also the menu it does not have any prices on the menu. Okay, so if you trying to figure out how much money you got, how much money you have, and you're at this high upscale place, you shouldn't be there. I say if you don't at least got $1,000 in your pocket, 'cause that meal shouldn't be over $1,000 for at least 2 people. It shouldn't be over, because if that's the case, that's ridiculous. Let's be real. Let's be realistic here. That food ain't that good. It's not like I'm eating 24 karat or anything. A caviar. I mean, I don't even like the way that stuff tastes. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like I'm eating a 24 karat gold. Am I eating on 24 karat gold plate? If it's going to be over $1,000, that fork and that spoon and that plate better be 24 karat gold. And if it's not that, I'm not paying over $1,000 for that, because for me that would be worth it. But moving forward, so we're at this high place, and she orders an appetizer, the main meal, a dessert, and 2 different types of drinks. And I was like, I don't got a problem with anything. But remember, this menu don't got no prices, no nothing on it, right? I still don't have a problem with it. But then I'm thinking to myself, she still didn't tip the waiter. I'm with my meal. I pretty much ordered the same thing. You know, my meal, the dessert, and maybe a martini, or whatever the chef's specialty, whatever he got going on. I order something like that, but that's it. I always notice that her price of whatever would always be way more than mine, and that's one thing that is so rude and that is so tasteless, to where you order more than what the person is. You're ordering more than the person that's paying. It doesn't make sense to me. That's kind of rude, you know. And so at that time I got angry, but I didn't let her know that. Okay, so this is like the 2nd week. The 3rd week, we go to a nice, another classy place, to where it's on the lake view, to where I'm looking at the lake view. It's really, really nice. And you can either eat on the dock, or whatever you want to call it, or you can eat inside. You know, I always like to eat inside, because I do not like to be hot, because my makeup, you know, things gotta be looking right. But moving forward, so we go there, and she does the same thing again. So the 4th week is when it was kind of like I tricked her, because I got fed up. I'm like, look, yeah, I want to say so many things, but YouTube, yeah. So anyways, this time I pick her up and I say, oh, and by the way, this is your treat. You know, and I just want to tell you thank you. I've had an amazing friendship with you. This is me being sarcastic, because I really haven't had an amazing friendship with you, because our friendship has revolved around only food and drinks. Yeah, we would have a conversation during the food and drinks, but during that whole entire Monday through Friday, I would never hear anything from you, except on that Saturday morning or something like that, asking what are we doing this weekend or something like that. It was always like that. You never checked on me. You never knew if I was sick or anything like that. Nothing. Like, you know, for me, friendship just has to, for me to even call you my friend, you're an associate until further notice. I'm just saying, like, you're an associate until further notice. It takes me years to call somebody my friend. You're going to be an associate, and then we're going to take steps, because I want to see how you are when you're upset with me. Because that right there is when I know your true colors, is when you're truly upset with me. Are you going to try to spread a rumor? Are you going to try to do this behind my back? I really want to know who you are behind the scenes when you're upset with me. That right there will let me know whether to keep you as a friend, or this should, you know, that's it. We should go our separate ways. So moving forward, that 4th week is when I told her what I told her. And I said, this is your treat. Thank you for the friendship and this and that and this and that. And so we're at the table by this time. Like, I'm talking to her, leading up into the building, going up the elevator, going to inside, you know, the place or whatever, going to the table, to the reserve table, whatever it was. We had to reserve it because it was just too packed out. So anyways, I tell her, yeah, this is your treat, and thank you for the wonderful friendship that we have had with one another, and this has been very, very nice. She said, oh, my treat. I said, oh yes, of course. I've been splurging on our wonderful friendship with food and drink only. And so I felt like today is going to be your treat, because I noticed that you haven't paid. You haven't offered to purchase any types of meals, drinks, desserts, or anything like that for us since this friendship has started. And she said, oh, well, yeah, you're right. I said, so I just decided that this is your treat because you're so used to me, paying for just you and I felt like now it's your time to pay for you and I, whatever. And she said, oh, I wish you would have told me. I said, well, yeah, I'm telling you now. And she said, oh, but I don't know how much everything. I said, oh, I didn't know you was having financial difficulties. You could have told me this. I could have at least, kind of fell back a little bit and let you handle your financial difficulties behind the scenes instead of, splurging and going out, because I didn't want you to feel as if I'm like showing off and telling you I have all this money and all this other stuff. I was just trying to make her feel good, but to be honest, it was just in a sarcastic way, because you know what you were doing. You just didn't, you probably felt so comfortable to the point that you felt like I would just pay all the time. And so you took advantage of my comfort in paying for your food and drinks. That's what that was. And so she was saying, well, I only brought a certain amount of money. I said, oh, really? I said, oh, well, to my understanding, I felt like you have your own business, don't you? She's like, oh, well, yes. I said, well, I didn't know your business was going through financial difficulties or anything like that. She said, oh, well, not necessarily, but I didn't bring enough money with me. I said, well, how much money did you bring? And she was like, $80. I said, that's all you? I said, really? $80? So I guess like she said that number, and she thought that I would say something like, oh, okay, well, I got it. No. I ain't got it. We not getting it, because you you are using me, and you know that you are using me, and I know that you are using me. So we're not going to play dumb in this situation. We're going to be open and honest about the whole entire thing. So this situation is so funny. And so she said she only had $80. I knew that was a lie, because I know she runs a business, and I know the connections that she has, and all this other stuff. That was a lie. You just didn't want to pay. You rather take, and without giving. I don't like people like that. And especially when you got money, and you have businesses, and you have connections, and, not everybody has that. Not everybody is involved in that type of world, so you need to be happy and grateful, because all that stuff can be taken away from you, and I'm very not too humble. I'm a little bit humble when it comes to specific things, but I think sometimes you just need to splurge. You need to have fun. You don't need to be ashamed of wealth or ashamed of having money. You don't need to be ashamed, and it's not called gloating when you have it. Especially when you've been humble for so long. It's time for you to shout it out to the mountains. I have money. Moving forward. So, she said she only had $80. I said, oh, it's okay. I said, because we're going to work within your budget. She said, well, we're at this nice, place. And then she started to feel embarrassed and humiliated and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to humiliate you. Because, hell, how do you think I felt when I was paying for all your desserts and all these other things? You wasn't asking me how did I feel that your meal always cost more than mine. It wasn't about money. It was about respect. It was about you being rude and taking advantage of me because I was being so nice to you. I have a problem with that. And then I catch on real quick. I'll let it slide only for so long before I do something different to make you realize and check your own self to see what's really going on. You'll realize it yourself. You'll feel embarrassed on your own without me even telling you, because of the situation that you'll be placed in. So moving forward, she Said she only had $80. I said, well, we're going to work within your budget. We're going to get something that's within $80. Well, it's a good thing. I mean, I was at the what? Was I at the Lakeview? I said, no, we wasn't at the Lakeview. We was at another place to where we had to, okay. Yeah, so this place, I got something real small. I got like a appetizer because I knew she only had $80. I said, so what we're going to do, I had to talk to the waiter because at this place, the menu did not have any prices on it. Again, this was like the second place I went to where the menu did not have any prices. So I went to the manager and I said, can I speak with the manager? And I said, well, this is this girl's first time being here, and she wanted to pay for both of us, but she only has $80. And so I was like, wow, I did not want to embarrass her or anything like that. So I was wondering if there's any way that I can find out the prices of these meals so that way we can work within her budget. And I said, oh, yes, of course, there's no problem and this and that, right? So I turned around. I said, well, here's the prices on the menu. She felt even more humiliated. Here's the prices on the menu that we can work within your budget, so that way I can figure out what I can get and you can get, and we can have a lovely dinner. She said, okay, well, I guess I'll get this. I said, I'll just get an appetizer so that way you can save a little bit of change. That way you can save a little bit of change. She's like, okay. And so I think all together it was like $45 or $50. I said, and you leave the tip. Now, that kind of reminds me of that movie with How Stella Got a Groove Back. That's the first thing that I thought about. To where Taye Diggs told Angela Bassett to and you leave the tip. Yeah, that's what I told her. And you leave the tip. And after that, she felt so humiliated because I sat up there and gave her the paper to where they printed it out for her for the prices. And she felt embarrassed because everybody was around her looking at her. They wasn't looking at me. They was looking at her. Because I mean, when you look like you got it, act like you got it. Trust me. You would make it believable. And obviously you got to have it too. You can't be walking into those restaurants with no money. So anyway, she felt humiliated after that, and after that, I cut off the friendship because I did that on purpose to teach her a lesson. You don't use people. You do not use people. Now, I don't have nothing against people that use people, but I'm not going to be the guinea pig, and I'm not going to be the one that you use. Just trust and believe that. I've already been used too many times, and that's why I am sitting up here putting this video out here that's called 3 in-depth ways to know when someone is using you, because trust me, it already has happened to me. It's not going to happen again because people are just, people don't think, they don't even know. Like sometimes a person can be playing along with you using them and you are sitting up there. People can play along just to see how far you would take it, and they turn around and flip the script. Because they know when they're being used. They know the game. I mean, the other one think they're playing it, but the other one had already done played it. So they know what's up. They know what's going on. That's why I say I knew I was being used that second, third week. I already knew it. Like the first time, I knew it was on me because I offered it. But that second and third time, I knew she was using me because she never offered to pay for food and drinks. Nothing. Like she never offered. And then our conversations would mainly be about, what are you doing this weekend? It was always about that. We never even hung out any other time unless it was with food and drinks. It never was an outside event, a charity event, or a cocktail party. It was never nothing like that. It was only during that setting. So that's another way that I knew you was using me. I'm not stupid. You don't do people like that. Moving forward. That's how you know when you're being used for food and drinks only. With that whole entire story. So, be careful. You may be nice and things of that nature, and it's okay to be nice, but it's not okay for people to take advantage of nice people, because they have genuine people out there that has money, that doesn't mind sharing their wealth with others. I'm not saying sharing with less fortune. I'm talking about just sharing it just with people that's even on your level too. They have nice people out there. I have been around, many high caliber men and women that were nice to me and that invited me to certain events and this and that, and I never used those people. They're already up there. They're way higher. I've never used those people, and that's why I'm still invited to those types of places, because I don't do people like that. I know how to act in a certain type of setting, you know. So moving forward, don't get used. The next one is using you for your connections. Now, this is not my story. This is my friend's story, and this is an actual friend. You know, but this is my friend's story. Let me sip on my tea. Okay, what am I drinking? Some passion stuff. I don't know. It has lemonade in it. Got a little bit of sugar in it. Yes, honey. All right, moving forward. Okay, so this happened to my friend. She gave me the whole story, so I'm just going to tell you all the story. So my friend, she hosts a lot of, you know, charity events, but she also donates in within her own charity events, if that makes any sense. Whether it's donating to the less fortunate, whether she's selling, you know, some of her paintings and stuff, auctioning off some of her paintings, and people are purchasing that, and that money goes towards the less fortunate. You know, it's like a situation like that, right? So she invited this friend. Now, this girl was her friend for about a good 6 months. I wouldn't invite nobody that I've known for 6 months to a major charity event. Yeah, I just wouldn't. Anyways, this girl was friends with her. My friend was friends with Jenny for about 6 months, and she invited her to a major charity event. This charity event was not a business networking event. This charity event she was not, I don't think she was the host of this event, or maybe she didn't. I'm not for sure if she was even aware that she was being presented with a award or anything like that. I think she was caught by surprise with that. I'm not even for sure, but I just know for sure that it was not a business networking event. It was a charity type event or whatever, to where she was being presented an award. Her business partners were there, her family members were there, and her close friends were there. And these were the friends that she was around and she knew for years. The only one that she knew for 6 months was this one in specific, named Jenny. Okay, so we got the story. Okay, so she invited Jenny to the event, and, you know, my friend is being presented an award and stuff like that, and it was a very nice, classy event. Well, let's speed up the story. And towards the end of everything, Jenny is speaking to, you know, different men and women of the charity event, and just making just regular conversation like anybody else would. But instead, she decides to pitch her, to pitch whatever she wanted to pitch to my friend's business partner. Give a pitch how she can be a great asset to their company. Excuse me. How she can be a great asset to their company. How she can do this and do that, whatever. She actually brought her business cards to my friend's charity event. Wow. So tacky. So she did that, and she did it to a few people, and my friend did not know because she was too busy, so happy that she received an award. I think they caught her kind of by surprise because she didn't know that. And what else? So as time passes by, whatever, the event ends. The next day, my friend's business partner called her and say, you know, hey, I just wanted to really congratulate you about your award and this and that, this and that. And then he mentions the girl's friend. He's like, yeah, hey, and your friend Jenny and I, we were having a discussion, and your friend Jenny was mentioning to me how she can be a great asset to my company. And my friend was like, really? And she's like, yes. He's like, yes, you know. And I thought it was very tacky that she would mention that at your event, to where you're being presented an award. And she also gave me her business card, told me to contact her, how she can be a great asset to my company, how, you know, she knows the ins and out about, you know, specific things within this man's company, whatever. And he said, I just didn't know that, you know, that you would have that type of friend at your event. I said, and then he mentioned, was she aware that it was like a charity event to where you were being presented an award, and that it was not a business networking event to where she would want to present me just a business card? Because no one was there with business cards. Everyone was there to, you know, be supportive of my friend, you know. So anyways, she got mad, hung up the phone with her business partner, called Jenny. Jenny, of course, come up with some type of lie. And she says, oh, it wasn't like that. We were just having a discussion back and forth. And your business partner asked me about, you know, what do I do? And this and that, this and that. And I decided to give him my business card because he asked what field, what's my career field, you know, what am I involved in, and things of that nature. And I can see how that conversation can turn into that. But when my friend went back into the cameras, because she didn't know who to believe, like she believed her friend, but then also the Jenny, the one who told her story, it sounds kind of believable too, because it's easy to have a conversation with someone to where that person is asking for your business card because they're asking about what you do. Oh, well, hell, this is what I do. You know, it's like a regular organic conversation. But then when she looked at the cameras, my throat is getting dry, y'all. But then when she looked at the cameras, she noticed Jenny, she did this to like about 5 or 6 people. She would have like a 15-20 minute conversation, card. 15-minute conversation, card. Now, I can see if it happened with one person, but it happened with each person that she spoke to. So yes, you was using this girl's event you was using this girl's event to profit from it. Not profit for as far as money, just profit from it as far as hoping to get some high caliber men to work for them, or even probably to date them. But you did it at the wrong time and at the wrong person's event. It wasn't no business type of networking event. It was that type of event. So when my friend looked at the cameras and all that other stuff, she cut the girl off immediately. She didn't even call her back and told her anything. She just cut her off. She banned her from ever showing up for to any other events. The girl got the clue real quick that excuse me. The girl got the clue real quick that she was banned, and she knew what she did. You know, like people know. They know their intentions when they come to your event. It's either good or bad. You know? That girl was just using her for her connections. She was using her to try to probably even date a high caliber man, or she was just using that whole entire situation to make it all about her. It wasn't even about my friend. It was all about what she can get out of this whole entire situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against, you know, people using certain situations to get what they want. Hey, you do it how you want to do it. But at the same time, you don't do it knowing that this girl is being, you know, celebrated, and she has some type of award. Ooh, y'all, this is Woo. Excuse me. She's doing this, and she knows her intentions. Hell, I'm pretty sure that if my friend knew this girl's intentions, she probably would never have invited her. But why would you invite someone that you have only known for 6 months? I felt like she, and then also she noticed in the camera that no one else did it except her. No one else was passing out business cards except her. She was the only one out of the whole entire, I was about to say stadium, but out of the whole entire event, only one person was doing it. So now we know what that looks like when someone is using you. And then she didn't know she was being tape recorded. She didn't know that the whole thing. Well, of course it was being recorded because it was the girl's event and she was being celebrated. So of course it's going to be recorded. Why wouldn't it be? You know? So moving forward. So those are the 3 things. The 3 in-depth ways to know when someone is using you is using your ideas to profit from it, using you for food and drinks only, using you for your connections. You be careful out there because people that use you, they come in many different disguises and you won't never know. You won't ever know, really, unless you have a really strong intuition. That's when you would actually know that someone is really using you. Probably right off the bat. You probably won't even have to think twice. But if you have a weak intuition and nothing really can connect, like to where you get that feeling, then good luck. Really, like seriously, good luck. Like good luck in life in general when it comes to people, because people can play you in so many different ways to where you probably still won't catch on. Even when they did it, you still won't even know they did it to you, because it would probably come to you in such a disguise. You'll probably think Tony did it, but come to find out somebody else did it, and they had a whole team playing it up and trying to set things up behind you. It's so bad, y'all. But like I said, these things happened to me. Well, two of the things that I mentioned, it happened to me back then, and I don't regret that experience. I don't regret what happened to me. Like I said, in life, I feel like we have to learn from different situations, and I use every situation and I transmute the energy, and that's what I do. And I have so many stories, you all, so much advice, so much beautiful advice to give to the community, to give to my viewers. It's just so much that I know that I can help you all with, because I've been through so much and came on top through each situation. So I know that I can help. If I can't help thousands and I can only help 10 or 15 people, that's all I care about, because you all are going to know today when somebody is using you. Look at the story. Go back into my stories that I mentioned. Take notes. When somebody say something like, when it comes to the profit from the idea, when they say things like, I'm trying to brainstorm, what would you do, this and that, you have to learn how to cut them off and say, well, right now I'm not in a brainstorming mood. So whenever you come up with it, you let me know. Therefore, you're not engaging. You're not even giving them any type of conversation. You're just cutting them off right there from the front. You're just blocking it right before it even starts. So that way, if their intentions were bad to actually profit from an idea, they can't profit from nothing that they haven't received. Hello. So anyways, this pretty much concludes the video. Y'all, we made it over 50 minutes. What? Yay! But y'all, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bells. Make sure you give this a thumb up. Maybe even leave a couple of comments. What should be my next video. I'm willing to discuss any type of topic because I've been through so much. So I'm probably can fluster up a lot of things, So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. This pretty much concludes the video. So peace, love, and success. Let's go.